I'm going to tell a story about two people, John and Jack. Both of them are recent college graduates making the same salary. John, upon realizing that he's making, as we say, big boy money for the first time, decides to go out, take a loan out on a car, scale his life and get a fancy apartment in the middle of a city, and then go out every weekend and buy drinks for his college friends and new friends that he meets. He's not going paycheck to paycheck necessarily, but there isn't really a tracked amount of money that is either accumulating or going into some sort of asset for his future. Jack, upon making his first real paycheck, decides immediately to set up a budget. When Jack gets his first job, he immediately sets up a simple budget, a simple Excel spreadsheet that has the amount of money that he's making after taxes, his expenses, and then how much he wishes to save. Now, with the remaining money, Jack can budget towards groceries, personal enjoyment items, and other things important to Jack. The important part is that Jack has a green number on his spreadsheet that is the amount of money that he is keeping after every month. In 20 years, John and Jack will live very different lives. They may be both very happy, but one of them can survive a layoff and the other cannot. Now, who do you want to be? When I first graduated, I was a John. Right away, I purchased a used car that was an older fancy car. I immediately moved into a city and got an apartment that was what I would say luxurious. I was making comfortable money and I did not have a family, kids, or girlfriend at the time. So it was very easy for me to go out every weekend, visit my friends, and enjoy my life. While I do support that for a lot of people, I do think that having a budget can help you do that while also managing your long-term goals. I'm now at Jack. I've calculated my savings rate and I'm in the top 2% of people nationwide. My goal is to be financially free at a very young age. Now, I understand that some people are put in a scenario where saving is just not possible. Maybe you're a young parent and you have to support your children. I'm very fortunate and I realize that. That's why I can save the amount of money that I do. However, there are plenty of people my age that are doing quite the opposite. When you're given an opportunity like this, it's very important to capitalize on what you're dealt. And even if you're in a worse position than I am, you still have the power to get yourself out of it if you just tell yourself you can. The biggest issue is that a naysayer will never achieve anything that they wish to achieve. There will always be a roadblock too big. There will always be something that's blocking them from achieving their goals. There may be someone across the world in your exact situation doing more every day, slowly getting out of the situation that they're in. Whether you've accumulated too much debt early on, or you have to support people that cannot work, you're still in a scenario where you can create a budget and save for your future. So welcome everybody. My name is Mike. Basically before this video, I was making Deltarune and Delts videos because I love fitness. I love talking about it. I think that's basically my biggest hobby. So I love talking about getting fit, getting big, getting jacked, or whatever your health goals may be. But today we have a little Minecraft gameplay going in the background, and I'm going to teach you how creating a budget completely changed my life. Now, I'm 24 years old, but if I said how much money I saved right now, it would be pretty daunting. And honestly, I'm very proud of where I've gotten to, and I have worked very hard to get in this position. I basically like to work around the clock. I don't go out on the weekends, but that's a personal choice because I do other things that make me happy. But I'm very focused on my goals, and I know where I want to be in 30 years. And I think a lot of people watching this video want to get out of the situation that they're in or are very curious about financially improving their life. Now, the issue that you see nowadays on social media, there's a lot of people talking about how they got these fancy cars and how they got all these girls, and then you see a couple months later that they were kind of lying. And maybe all these cars were rented or they had them on super duper loans and they were just temporarily making a lot of money. Now, I will say if I was one of those folks and I was making a lot of money off social media, I would have just invested the money or at least saved it. The whole idea of scaling by portraying yourself as something that you're not is foolish. You don't need to prove to your friends that you're the wealthiest guy. You don't need to prove that you can drive the fastest car. Because at the end of the day, you're paying that money to somebody who produced that car. I am a car guy at the end of the day, and I actually do spend a lot of my money on vehicles. I bought a used motorcycle that I love to ride around and work on in my free time. So how I got myself from being a John who decided to scale his life right after graduation to a Jack now saving in the top 2% was create a very simple budget. Now, my budget, I can pull it up right now. My budget contains very simple information. Basically, I have one column that is my after-tax income, and then I have another column with my fixed expenses. my rent because I'm not a homeowner, insurance, car payment, etc. Now in green, I have a amount of money that I can have at the end of the month if I spent $0. Now, obviously, that is not feasible because I have to feed myself and I have to keep the lights on. But what I do is every time I spend any money, I go into Google Sheets and I input how much money I spent and what it was in. Now, what that does is the red number that is calculated from the amount of money I've spent is subtracted from the green amount that I can net every month. After my first month, my jaw dropped. I realized that I was basically living month to month while I thought that I was saving money. Now, obviously, I have some investments automated, but I think that's the bare minimum. I think that you could push yourself financially if you realize that the consumer economy right now is pretty ridiculous. There's always something to buy. There's always a new gadget to buy. There's always something new coffee shop to buy coffee at. And again, you may love to do stuff like that, and that may be what you choose to spend your money on, but you should not be spending money every single day. Even if you love to eat out, you could work on cooking food yourself that tastes really good. If you're eating out every day for every meal, you could probably be spending about a quarter of that money on groceries alone. So that completely changed my financial trajectory. And I wanted to share this story because if you don't have a simple budget or basically a statement of how much money's coming in and how much money's going out, you may not realize the tiny expenses add up. And once I realized that, my saving game transformed. The biggest argument I see to saving is you're not going to have this money when you die. While that's very important to obviously acknowledge, my goal is not to get rich quick and to have all the nice things that people say you get when you basically quote unquote make it. I want my life to be as stress-free as possible so I can enjoy the time with my family before they're gone. I think that the financially free people have more time on their hands to spend it doing things that they actually love, which for me would be spending time with family, hanging out with friends, and honestly playing video games. Whatever makes you happy. But if I never made this budget, I would have never known that my savings rate was super low. Because the thing is, like when people are trying to lose weight, the human mind loves to underestimate how much they're actually consuming. So when you're trying to diet, you'll tell yourself, oh, I think I had 2,000 or 2,200 calories today. But if you were to actually weigh out your food one time and realize, oh my gosh, all of these foods are adding up to 3,000 calories, you wouldn't create excuses for yourself saying, oh, I just can't lose weight. And while a lot of people may think that that's a taboo subject, it's the same concept with the amount of money that you're spending. If you have a balance sheet and you can actually see how much money's coming in and how much money's going out, you'll realize, oh my gosh, I can make my life completely turn around. It's also super satisfying to see that green number just increase every month and realize that, holy shit, the money I'm making isn't just going back out into the consumer market. I'm actually holding on to this money. And for a lot of people, investing into assets that'll grow or maybe investing in property. These are things that you own and they'll appreciate over time because obviously the dollar is losing power every single day. So yeah, I guess that was a quick video, but the budget will change your life. Take my word for it. It completely changed mine. You enjoy this type of content? You want to see me talk about this and fitness in the future? Please smash that like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.